Hi all, apologies for being ill. I decided not to spread my disease. Just to let you know, I can't hear any of you. I think you're all muted.
Yeah, we're on mute until we start. Hello,
Brilliant.
Jackson. There's no
Hi.
Liverpool counter stuff. Yeah. But it's 24 station.
Oh dear.
Hi, Carol. They're muted till they start. I'm just a bit ill, so I'm keeping everyone else a bit healthy. Hope you're well.
Hi, I hope, well, I'm still full of cold, but that's what happens when you go on holiday.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely
How are
seeing you.
you doing?
As you can tell, not great, but I'm getting there. Plenty
You're
to drink,
you're
plenty
as
of
bad as me then, aren't you?
yeah, plenty of throat sweets. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I figured it best not to give the whole town count to what I've got.
Yeah, no. What's going
Yeah,
on there?
they're all on mute till the event starts, so don't worry, they'll be
All right.
activating when it begins. Yeah,
All right. So
yeah.
how's business going in the
Well,
Tesco's?
well enough. I've had a few people through. It's a bit quieter this week, but it always is on January. You get crazy busy in November and December, and then it gets quieter for January, but it's building back up again. Yeah,
I'll be. I keep saying I'm coming in, but you know what it's like with me being a Paris County Council. So don't seem
yeah,
to have any time. But I would like to come in and have a new phone with a new SIM card, so I can start
brilliant.
off again. So when are you there?
I'm usually around Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Right. Okay
Yeah,
then. Okay. Monday. Monday would be better for me. Yes.
brilliant. I'll
So I'll
see you
come
one of
in.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I'll see what you've got. Okay, all right.
brilliant. Yeah,
Thank you for
take
that,
care.
Jackson.
No
Thank you.
worries. Hi there, Sal.
Get a lem sip down. You're a blackcurrant lem sip.
Yes,
They
needed. I
are
feel.
brilliant. They are brilliant.
Yeah, I'm working my way through throat sweets at the moment.
Don't eat too many of them. They're not good for you.
No, I have to keep on brushing my teeth. They're very sweet. Yeah,
Did you have a nice Christmas?
lovely. Thanks. How was yours?
I was
Oh,
in Australia, wasn't I?
I think they're just starting the meeting. Yeah, but oh,
6:30, so I'll call the meeting. Conversation, you know. Very well. No. Okay. Hi, Ben. So welcome everyone. This is the first full council meeting after the Christmas and New Year break. I hope everyone had a very restful and peaceful Christmas, and that the restfulness and peace will continue into this present council session. I do have some very sad news, which to start with, and that is that much loved councillor and a friend to all of us, I think, Hazel Evans has sadly passed away. She has been ill for some time, I know, but the news came rather unexpectedly today that she has died. So I think her long service to the council and the excellent work which she has done over the years should receive a mark of our respect, and I would suggest that we have a minute silence while we remember Councillor Hazel Evans. Thank you everyone very much.
Chair,
Yes,
sorry, could I just propose that as a council, we put a formal thank you to Hazel for all her service to the town over the years in all the local media like the County Times, My Welshpool, etc., etc.
absolutely. Thank you, Nick. I think we'd all agree with that. Yeah. Thanks, Nick. Okay. We have today with us Chief Inspector Matthew Price, who's sitting here on my left, who's come to talk to us about well, police matters affecting Welshpool. I think, Matthew, I don't know whether you're going to make a sort of brief statement, Matthew, or whether you just want to take questions, or
more than happy to take questions, then we can address the concerns directly then rather than.
Oh, sorry. Do we have any? Sorry, Matthew. Apologies for absence.
Yeah, Alison Davis and Estelle.
Okay, thank you. Right. Well, if I can sort of start then, what I would like to know is where you see your major challenges in a policing role in Welshpool. What you perceive has changed or is changing that might require greater focus or attention by the police. I know we've all been aware over the past year and a bit. We've had the cannabis farms in a lot of our empty buildings, and as a council, we've also noticed quite an increase in vandalism and that sort of, mindless petty damage to property. So I guess that's something that's in the police focus as well.
Yeah, policing is changing, and I think that's given over the many years. We are now seeing very different trending crimes, perhaps what you'd consider traditional crimes previously. We are now faced, as people see on a daily basis, with cybercrime, fraud, high value fraudulent activity, often using criminality from overseas, and that's some of the big areas of sort of Asian threat for us locally in Welshpool. We are seeing your traditional crimes with drug use and social behaviour and a level of public order, but nothing that is on an increasing scale to where we have been previously. In fact, overall crime for that area is down in the Welshpool area itself. So we are Welshpool, Paris, you know, it's a very rural location, but our criminality and level of criminality we're seeing is similar to what we see nationally. Travelling criminals and rural breaks have been an area of concern for us over the last, probably more so over the last 18 months, where we've had a lot of ongoing work with Western Mercia Police to target that, particularly in you know, some of our villages on the border. And then we've got obviously the issue with any controlled drugs within the town, where that has that knock-on effect of criminality, thefts, etc. So there's a number of strands to how we approach criminality. We have it's not a one-size-fits-all approach anymore, and I think we have to, as a police force, we have to change with the crime trends. So what we're trying to do is adapt to command we have. That does sometimes sit uneasy, and I think we always face comments about not seeing police officers on the beat, etc. But what we've got to do is have the response to what we are seeing, right? And you know, we have to prioritise where the officers are then present. So there are big areas at the minute is acquisitive crime and travelling criminals, supply of controlled drugs and use of controlled drugs in the area. And then domestic abuse is also one of the force priorities at the minute, and what we're seeing is that we're having some really good results in prosecution and prevention of domestic abuse. So there are three main strands I would say.
That's good. You mentioned the people coming in from outside, and we are a border town, so I guess are you finding that there's good cross-border cooperation with neighbouring forces? Given that it all might change, of course, depending what happens with it.
Yeah, we work very closely with West Mercia Police. Some of our big successes we've had recently with the rural breaks on the border, we've worked really well with them. Our proactive team has been linking in their proactive team sharing information intelligence, and it has seen recovery of, I think it was up to £10 million with the stolen property, and then the successful prosecutions of the group from the Telford area. So it is that, you know, we are David Paris, and we're only concerned about what goes on with us. We have to work with the other forces, and we've got a very good working relationship with our neighbouring forces, particularly here with the US Police.
Yeah. Nick, I think, was first, and then Richard.
May I ask what the sort of local opinion is with David Paris Police about the proposed amalgamation of all the forces in Wales into one force? Do you feel that this would be improved collaborative working with what were previously separate forces? And do you think that one unified force would be more efficient?
It's hard to say, because the information that's in the public is the information we've got, and the plans are.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be awkward.
No, and I'm not trying to give an answer, but it's hard to say. There are areas, and I think our chief constable has given a press release the last couple of days. There are areas where collaboration will be beneficial, but the reality is that the plans that have been announced are very much as is. They're going to be fewer forces, but we don't know how that's going to work, how that's going to be set up, what that looks like, other than currently an announcement from the government. We collaborate already. So as a force, we share our firearms unit with South Wales and Gwent. As a forensic service, we share with all Wales. Our IT system, we collaborate with North Wales, Merseyside and Chester. So collaboration is always already happening. And we have policies in place where, you know, uniform, for example, uniforms bought within a collaboration of forces. So it's not just every force buying their own set of uniforms. So there is already collaboration taking place. What the announcement means is, who knows at the minute, until they iron out how many forces they're going to be, who's going to be collaborating with who. And it is talk of a British FBI and then a local police in. But that is the extent of the plans. I put no one else's. They haven't announced how or what that's going to look like in reality. And I think moving down the line, that's probably realistic, probably a 5-10 year approach until we probably start seeing the that in action if at all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. I think so. Councillor Church, then Councillor France, and then Councillor
There's
Sam.
in all the list of different issues that you mentioned that you're dealing with, there's one that you left out, and it's accounted for more loss of life than all of the others put together, and that's road safety. Powys has, per head of population, the most dangerous roads in Britain. And you just look around Welshpool, you look at the main road to Newtown, the main road to Ulster Street, Llanver, all of the major trunk roads. In the last year, people have lost their lives on them. It really is quite appalling, and the cost. I mean, never mind the cost in human value and bereavement and suffering. Actually, the financial cost of it to public services, the health service, and everything else is absolutely colossal. And I really would urge the new Chief Constable to make road safety one of his key priorities, because it is horrific, the news that we get week in, week out of the loss of lives and the serious injuries on our roads. So I just wonder whether that's something that you could take back both locally and indeed for the whole public powers policing.
And what I say, it is a force priority. The three strands there were particularly for Welshpool at the time, but as Paris, I'm responsible for policing across uniform policing for the whole of Paris. We currently have road safety partnership group. We've got the road safety partnership group, which then we work collaboratively with via Trunk Road Agency Education. There's a scheme called Olivia's Story, which as a division we've rolled out to all the education schools we can in Paris to educate around road safety. We've got more traffic trained officers in Paris now than we ever have, and they are a dedicated road policing unit whose job is to look at criminality on the roads, but also road safety. And we've got a roads policing strategy within Paris, which incorporates neighbourhood policing, roads policing unit, and Go Safe, and that looks at problem oriented policing, so a POP plan, which has identified the two areas of concern, biggest concern at the minute, which is Newtown to Welshpool Strait. We're up in this area, and is work undergoing at the moment to fully understand the causes of those serious or fatal RTCs, which are around age of drivers, impact factors, timing of fails, so there's a big approach which we need at the moment to try and fully understand why these situations are happening, because we can all have an opinion as to what the main causes are, and we can put solutions in place. But if they're not true and accurate as to what the causes are, then the work may not be, it's not going to give us the results that we need. So that's currently underway. There are dedicated road policing resources for each area. So you've got they cover the Montgomeryshire, as in the Montgomeryshire RPU, but there are dedicated officers for Welshpool that look at knowledge to understand where the hotspots are, what the ASB driving is, where to patrol, and there's patrol plans in place. So there's a lot of work ongoing at the minute, and I'd say as a force, it's not lost on us that the statistics for Paris show that we've got some of the most dangerous roads in the UK. We've got a lot of education work ongoing. That's supported then by the enforcement work that's underway. And what we're trying to do is the education is around youth, motorbikers, and various other, whatever the demographic is that we need to get into. We're working with the farming community, etc. There's all sorts of work ongoing to understand what the root causes are and how we can address it. So, and I know obviously the Safer Road strategy was produced 2 years ago now, I think 3 years ago potentially, and that's something again which we are actively pushing. I know working with Craig Smith from the CSP, which obviously yourself the chair, there is we're we're looking at how we can get more funding as well to work towards that. So it is priority, and it is something that's on our radar as Powys Police, but also as the chief is he's very well cited in pushing that we have each police here as it is, we have their road safety strategy where we're all addressing the local concerns.
Okay, thanks. Dave.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I attended a white ribbon event in the town hall just late last year on tackling violence against women and girls. And as much as has been a lot has been done in Wales, you know, with the Welsh government having made this a priority long before the UK government now have, I wondered if you could give me an update on what you're doing in Dyfed Police to tackle violence against women and girls.
Yeah, so violence against women and girls, it's one of 2 national strategies across UK and policing, so that shows the importance of it. It's the only one, it's one of 2 that's set out nationally. We all work towards it. So locally, with violence against women and girls, we've got a number of initiatives around safety at nights, nighttime economy, even with initiatives now around safe running and trying to give advice to running clubs, etc., particularly where women and girls are more likely to be members of. When it comes to domestic abuse, we've got a whole restructure within Powys where we've got a local investigation unit who head up all of our domestic abuse investigations. We approach now with what we call a 1 custody episode. So looking at, we can keep people in custody for up to 24 hours, extensions can be put on top of that. So we're now maximising the use of custody clock to ensure that we're securing all the evidence in 1 custody episode, securing a charge, and then putting in offence before the court pretty much the next day. We have now got the highest charge rate for domestic abuse within the force within Powys, and we're then working closely with our charities. We have dedicated domestic abuse officers that work to support the victims. They're working with our IDFAs and family crisis centres and things like that. So there's a multi-strand approach to it. And then our neighbourhood policing team are also then working with victims of domestic abuse as well around crime prevention and what we can do moving forward for that. So it's not a simple approach of we turn up, we lock people up and then our job's done. We are looking at what we can do to secure convictions, secure charges, and maximising that and putting the support in place afterwards. But statistically, we know that for domestic abuse victims, it takes up to 3 occasions before they'll call the police, and then it may take up to 4 or 5 occasions till they'll actually support police action. So our job is to build that trust in with the victims to ensure that what we can do is work with them and get the charges and safeguard them.
Thank you.
As well.
Yep. Thank you very much for coming to speak to us tonight. It would be nice to see to have a police presence more often, really, so we can keep up to date with things. I'm quite concerned about the way in which children and young people can be lured or trapped into criminal activity, and just wonder if you could update us on what your force is doing with and within schools to combat something.
So as a force, we have got our own school beat project. Welsh Assembly Government withdrew funding for school liaison officers start last year, I believe it was, and our PCC has now funded a whole approach to school liaisons. So we've maintained the same number of school liaison officers going into the schools locally. We're also doing a reform at the minute around youth justice management, so we're working closely with the youth vending team. We have officers who are on secondment to the youth justice team, so that there's that knowledge shared between policing and youth justice around how we can manage children. It's not about criminalising, but it's trying to safeguard them. And within each section, then we have exploitation officers as well, who are working with local authority to try to deter away from the lure of criminality, for want of a better way of explaining it, or the exploitation from individuals who are to use kids for their advantage. There's a number of schemes then through the cluster process where if they are arrested for criminal offences, we're trying to avoid a criminalisation process. So it's looking at education, diversion schemes and support for family and that wraparound care as well to see what we can do. And it's about our neighbourhood teams locally who are engaging the youth clubs. Gwen is godsend in Welshpool and Newtown as a youth worker. And it's just trying to put that contact in of how can we fill people's time, what can we do to safeguard it. And where we are getting information around exploitation, we're looking at prosecutions around that. So there's been another number of prosecutions recently around the supply of drugs. And as part of that, we've been able to safeguard a number of youths who we believe are linked to the supply of controlled drugs in the area as well. So it's a very much a partnership approach between us and the local authority and the education. And then what we will also do is react to any emerging trends that come. So if we believe there was a couple of years ago, there was a report of fighting in between Newtown and Welshpool children, and it was pre-organised fight. We'll be very proactive and go to the school with the rights of the parents. But we're reacting to lots of emerging trends, but there is a lot of events getting out to look at the place. Makes sense for you,
Councillor Pritchard first, and then Councillor Bell.
Thank you, Chairman. Excuse me. Firstly, can I endorse what Richard Church says about the unfortunate accident and loss of life we've had on the roads here, in particular, the road from here to Bellew. Now, for the last 10 years, as a county councillor and on this council, I've been pushing to get a speed limit put there. Even to the point where the gentleman's name was Andrew Jones, who was with Powys County Council as their road top guy, if you like. And then he transferred and moved to the Trunk Road Agency. Now, the one thing they always used to use was, well, it's not ours, it's the Trunk Road Agency. Well, you know, it's all intermixed there. But the one thing I will say quite bluntly is 8 years ago, now you're not going to believe this, I know you're not going to believe this, but 8 years ago, I complained that when they didn't put a speed limit on that stretch of road, but sort of from here to the Horseshoe Pub or something like that. All of a sudden, they put a 50-mile-an-hour limit from the Kevin Bridge on the Shrewsbury Road to Welshpool. And when I made investigations and asked questions, and it was rather apparent that they hadn't done the normal process of getting the orders signed and this, that, and the other for that speed limit. And that speed limit of 50 miles an hour is still on from the Kevin Bridge to Welshpool, and it's never been through the processes that you should do for a speed limit. I'll stand by that. I checked it out. Right? But I personally think they got the stretches of road mixed up. That speed limit should have gone this end. But having said that, whether it did, whether or not, but I would like to think that there could be something done on this the road between here and Bellew, because it really is the last 3 years we lost 3 lives as I know of, and just in car accidents there.
Speed limits we can't set them.
Yeah.
We can make as we have done with Safer Road Strategy that was produced a couple of years ago. We've made and requested to the Welsh Government around consideration for average speed cameras. But you're right, it's a Trunk Road Agency, so it's funded by the Welsh Government, and it's their processes to go through. That stretch of road is the particular stretch of road I was referring to, where we've got a problem-oriented policing plan in place, where we're currently scanning impact factors, what the reasons are, because speed is a factor, but it might not always be the main factor, and that's where we need to look at it. And that's part of the scanning process that we're doing to say, well, what can we do to fix that problem? Unfortunately, I agree, we could do with some average speed cameras, average speed checks in the areas. That would be good, and I think North Wales have shown that works. But we are reliant on the Welsh Assembly Government for that funding, as I'm sure actually the Church will confirm with some frustration at times. But if we can, from the scanning and the analysis we're doing at the minute, give that clearer picture as to what is the main causes. Because for example, there's always a perception that it's people from outside driving into the Mid Wales that cause the crashes. That's not always the case. So we have to have that data and that analysis in place to say these are the core causes of said collisions on this piece of road, and then present that case. And that's
Thank you very much.
That's where the road safety group.
Can I just say and reiterate, I was purely supporting what Richard had said at the time. The main query I would have for you, if you don't mind me saying, is it's high time our police station was open to the public again. And it crossed my mind a couple of weeks ago, when they're talking about this reorganisation of police forces and this other, particularly one force for all of Wales. And quite honestly, there's a lot of people in this town who miss that police station being open and can't go and report somewhere else. And the number of people who normally would report something, but they won't go on a computer and send an email in or whatever. And I know the people at Welshpool would like the police station to be open. I know the difficulties with it, I think I do anyway. And you know, it just crossed everybody's mind whether volunteers to run a little hutch there or something to receive questions and whatever, I don't know. But certainly this town sincerely lacks the police station being open, and the people miss it. And I was thinking about the fact that we've now got a new chief constable. We're going to lose the police and crime commissioner. So things are all going to change, and if we could slip this change in through the back door, I'd be more than grateful. But I leave it with you.
No, and there's always reviews around that, and that decision was based some years ago on MANT, the use of it, and as I said, technology is taking over, which is where people tend to report online over the phone rather than in person. But we still acknowledge that there are hard to reach areas and people who don't want to use that. And I think that's where our drop-in sessions at Greg's and local staff help. But when it comes to volunteers, there are a various number of vetting checks that we need to do, but I'd be more than open to the fact that if we open it, if we can get the number of volunteers willing to assist who are suitable, then it's something we will explore.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Phil. Councillor Bailey, and I think we'll probably make this the last question.
Okay, thank you, Chair, and thank you for coming. It's been really interesting. But one of the reasons that we asked you to come was specifically in relation to joyriders and that element of antisocial behaviour, for which there is quite a lot in the town. And I know one of the conversations was, what are the police doing about it? So what is your strategy in relation to that element of antisocial behaviour? Because it's good you're targeting the youth, but these are just outside of that age bracket.
Yes, and youth are one strand when it comes to education within schools, and what we're finding is that most antisocial behaviour driving is done by our younger, our 17, 18, 19-year-olds. Control plans are in place for uniform officers and most policing officers to target key areas, the car parks, etc. And we have section 59, which is now social behaviour driving warning, which are regularly given out to these individuals. It comes back down to the road safety strategy as well. It's around education and around enforcement. So where we can, we do. There are the number of prosecutions. We don't find that would help necessarily. We can't increasing the prosecution tenfold doesn't see education that's going to help people, and that's where one of our priorities is. But where we need to, receiving vehicles, we're impounding vehicles and taking them away under section 59, no insurance or any driving offences, and we'll prosecute where they are committing driving offences as well. So it does form part of a joint strategy between our neighbourhood policing team and our roads policing team to try and be in the right place at the right time to find them committing. And there are certain things like OpSnap where if you see antisocial driving on a dash cam, submit that via OpSnap, and act of prosecution could be brought by that. So it doesn't necessarily be seen by a police officer then. But then there are some driving offences that are what we call found committing. So drink drive, for example, if you phone up and say this individual is drink driving, we have to find them committing to prosecuting for that offence. We can't just take your word for it. So where we find committing, we'll deal with it. OpSnap then is that most cars now have dash cam, so if you see any antisocial behaviour and you've got dash cam footage, submit it via OpSnap and that will prosecute that way as well. So there are various strands and various ways we can try and tackle it. And it is around education. Education is the key bit then, is that we're trying to educate people that wheel spinning in and all that might sound and look impressive, but dangerous driving has got that knock-on effect, which is why our fatalities are so high.
Basically, you're encouraging people to report. Because if you're using POP, then the more reports you get in, the higher up the profile it comes, isn't it?
As police service, I encourage people to report everything and anything, because I sit in multiple meetings where I will get saying, "What are you doing about this?" But they're not report. People are reporting to us, and I appreciate there could be some element of apathy, or what's the point? But you know, if I make it similar to when we do drug enforcement, one phone call might not be enough to get a warrant to search your house. But if we have 2, 3, 4 pieces of information, that's enough to satisfy the courts that we've got enough to go through from someone's door. And that's how we then build a problem profile. And we've got a system which is now called W Powers Connects. I'm not sure whether that's something that's active, where it is online, so it's not always ideal for some people, but it's a online connection where you go in, you put your postcode in where you live, and it gives you an opportunity to say, these are the problems in my area. And that's what I would encourage all your constituents and all the residents in Welshpool to do, is join W Powers Connect, because you're able to say in there then, these are my priorities, these are the problems on the street I live in, and then we're able to get a good profile of what affects the residents as well. Because if we don't know about it, we can't do something about it. And I know that's very cliche, but it's the case. And you know, whilst I haven't got the figures to me, but I know we had similar in Newtown where antisocial behaviour driving was raised. But when we looked actually how many reports we had of it, they were handfuls. And that's the issue we have then, is that we have to allocate our resources to demand. We have to meet demands that are coming in. That demand wasn't coming into us, so it doesn't then go as a high demand area for us to allocate resources to. So yeah, I'd encourage, whether it's antisocial behaviour, concerns for residents or criminality, report it, because then we know about it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Matthew. It was incredibly good of you to give up your time to come and speak to us. I think it's fair to say that we as a council, we're quite anxious to foster and maintain a good working relationship with the police. So I hope this will be the first of several.
I'm more than happy to make it a regular, you know, on a regular basis you want.
That would be fantastic. We'd be very grateful. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay, item 2. Have we got any declarations of interest or dispensations? Okay. Item 3, public participation. I don't think we have any members of the public. We've got Richard. Yes, Richard, do you want to say anything?
No, thank you.
Okay. And we have no members of the public online.
Say something actually.
Yes.
I've got a spare set of papers
A spare set of papers?
this evening's meeting.
I'm afraid we haven't.
Okay.
No, sorry, Richard.
Usually you've got loads here.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, the mayor's report for January. First of all, I had a letter of resignation from Councillor Julie Arnold. I think we would all thank Julie for her quite long service. She's been a good councillor. I know she's struggled in recent times to find time or the resources to commit herself entirely, but she has served as a very good councillor, both in her current term and in the previous terms that she served. So yeah, so we'll miss Julie. I think she was a valuable member of the council.
She's also a former mace bearer, etc.
Yes. I think probably the most momentous event of the month, which you'll all be over familiar with now, is the announcement that the Tour de France is coming to Welshpool. This is the biggest spectator sport in the world, or so we're told. The entourage itself will number several thousand. It's going to take over the town with the visitors that we're expecting as well. The population of the town is going to double or even treble. It's going to have a TV audience numbered in the billions. And we need to start thinking right away about how we're going to make the best of this and take advantage of it to really lift the profile of the town. I'm told that an area not dissimilar to ours in Yorkshire, where the event was last staged in the UK, the venue that started that stage added more than £200 million to their economy just from the event being there. So this could be fantastic for the town, fantastic for the tradespeople of the town, and any community groups, associations that want to try and raise their profile by being a part of it all. It's only going to happen once probably, so we need to be ready and we need to take advantage of it. I've had one meeting already with Bryony Rees, who's the Strategic Events Planning Officer for Paris, who is going to liaise with the event organisers, Paris County Council, obviously, and ourselves. She said that we should expect many more meetings as the time goes on before July the 4th. And it won't just be them telling us what they want us to do and what's expected of us, but we can feed into them things that we would like to do as well. So everybody give that some thought, because it's going to be quite important, I think. I think that's all I want to say for my report. We can go on now to any county council and councillor updates. Graham, I don't think is here, but we have Carol and we have Richard. So Carol, Richard, do you want to say anything about county council matters?
Hi, sorry, Richard. I haven't got anything to report at the moment.
Okay, thanks, Carol.
Just a couple of things from me. One, I think, has already had some coverage in the press, which is that the county council are allocating £1.5 million of levelling up funding to projects in towns which have got a development plan. And we have such a plan in place, so we are one of those towns. So we need to be thinking over the next few months as to how we bid for that money and what we should consider using it for. The other thing is, just so that everybody is aware, Graham and I were both informed that work will start on resurfacing Brook Street and Union Street along its entire length in February, which I think will be very welcome news with the number of
It's a nightmare at the moment.
that there are along there. So yeah, originally I was told it was going to be done in the autumn, and sadly it wasn't. So I'm now told it's going to be done in February.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Bill.
Yeah, just because it's a matter that we discussed at this stage in the previous meeting, it's worth reporting and noting that trees are being planted. They may have even completed it by now in Buldingle yesterday and today.
Yeah, thanks. I think Buldingle is on the agenda a bit later. Yeah, but thanks for that, Bill.
Also, the yellow signs are up in Brook Street, so I think that this is definitely going ahead.
Chair,
Okay, thanks.
can I just thank Paris County Council, because today they finally put up roundabout signs at the roundabout on Red Bank at the top where it meets Brookfield Road. So it was one of the suggestions I made during the consultation period on the traffic problems. So there are now roundabout signs which route everything.
Okay, thanks, Maureen. Well, one thing, Richard, is that it was brought to my attention that there are no signs for the high school from the road. There are signs apparently to the flash, to the leisure centre, nothing to indicate that the school's there. And
Oh, right, well, perhaps that's something that Carol can take up
Yeah.
because it's in her patch, but
Yeah.
that surprises me. I
it
must say.
surprised me,
Yeah.
and I haven't actually been down there to check that is actually the case, but that's what I've been told.
I've put that on my list, okay?
Okay, thank you, Carol. Okay, who?
No.
Oh, sorry, Phil. Yeah, didn't see you.
To offer my condolences to the people from Powys County Council who turned up at the Bull yesterday, not yesterday morning, day before, Monday morning. They were gonna start working on Bull up with the tail. And the three of the people from the it must be a department for digging up the Bull or something. But anyway, a resident up there and has got film of it. You're not going to believe this, Chairman, but you've seen it on telly many times. But yesterday morning, there were three of them walking down the Blue Dingle. They all had Wellingtons on, and they were in the water. And all of a sudden, the front person, who happened to be the leader of the group, right, went straight in, and all you could see was his head. Absolute truth. Now it's just like the thing from the telly, right? And they pulled him out, right? And he was absolutely soaked from right up here, right? And of course the water's all dirty there. Anyway, you wouldn't see whether there's a hole there. But he went straight down in it, and for a certain person was filming it just to see what work they were going to do. But he's lost sight of him. So just so that just so that we know that they are active.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And as I said, Bull Dingle is coming up later on in the agenda. So I think we'll move on quickly to the minutes, starting with the full council. That's Appendix B. That was the meeting on the 10th of December. Remember, this is a vote merely to approve the minutes as being a correct record. So I'm sure you've all looked at them, unless there are any. Okay, is there a second for that? Thank you, Morag. So those in favour, please.
It's up.
Thank you. Any against? Okay, one against, abstentions. One abstention. Thanks, Ben. Okay, there are any matters rising from the.
No, they were all completed.
Yeah. Okay, events and planning. This is the meeting of January at Appendix C. And remember that this committee has devolved powers, so again, we're only required to note those minutes. Don't think that means a vote, is it?
No, if you can. No, I wouldn't.
No.
Is it quick?
Yeah, so unless you've got anything you want to add, Chris, or anything you want to say, we'll move on from that. No? Okay. Item 9, audits.
Do we need to?
Yeah, Morag.
Do we need to propose new settlement?
I don't think so, because we're only noting them. I mean, you can. Item 9, the audit committee. Now, this comes up twice because there was a meeting in December after full council, and then there was January's meeting. Alison is chair, and she's in Portugal, I think. So does anyone want to? Who's vice chair?
Phil.
Phil, do you want to do this? I mean, I suggest we take both. Could we take both together?
No, because they are in separate points.
Okay.
In time wise.
Okay, so dealing firstly with the meeting in December. I mean, you can see the recommendations that were made. They're enumerated in the agenda. Yeah, Phil?
The audit committee, you saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the previous month's meeting, Chairman, I put my name forward to be on that group.
No, wrong meeting.
Sorry?
Wrong meeting.
This is
Which meeting am
December.
I gonna talk about that?
That's the January meeting. This is the December meeting.
Okay, boss. January,
Yeah.
Did- Yeah,
was it January meeting?
yeah.
Where's the minutes of that one then?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're further down, Phil. We've not got there yet.
oh, right, okay. Let me know when they're there, Bill.
To fill
Okay.
in the blanks for the members who weren't there, one of the biggest things the audit committee did in December, just a lifetime ago now, is they looked at the audit returns from Audit Wales the past 3 years, which were unqualified. So they adopted a new audit action plan to report back progress to them. They also asked me to prepare a new procurement policy to align with the updated financial regulations. They explored adding additional risk to the risk register around IT cyber failure, as it had been quite timely in the news. And it reviewed the evaluation of services report on the hub, which was prepared by Alison and Morag. And Morag wants to add anything more here, but this is what the report found, and they adopted a series of recommendations to enhance and strengthen the hub. And that was the recommendations that they proposed. Bill was there, Ben was there, Alison and Morag was there as well.
So unless anyone's got anything they want to raise regarding those recommendations, we can just go straight to the vote. Yep. Ben. Okay, those in favour?
Heads up.
Thanks. I think that's unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Agenda item 9.2, operations and development. That's minutes are at appendix E. The recommendations are set out in the agenda. And that's you, Phil.
Chair, before we start, could I just request that we take these one by one as opposed to in a block, if that's okay?
Or each of the recommendations.
Yes.
Okay, we can do that. Right, so the first recommendation was, and that's item 5.2, to accept the block booking for the assembly rooms on a Sunday until the 15th of March next year, or this year. But if a booking is received for a Saturday night during the period, to ask officers to negotiate a suitable way forward. That was because we had various people that wanted to book it for an extended period of time. That was likely to cause some problems because we're blocking it for the use of other people for other events, and it potentially causes difficulties with shortage of staff hours, basically, to have it open at different times and different days. So that was the recommendation. Is there any objection to that recommendation, or can we move on from that?
Yeah, propose we accept that one.
Okay, those in favour? Thank you, Maureen.
Heads up.
Thank you. That's unanimous as well. Thank you very much. Okay, the next recommendation was from the Tourist Information Centre, and that was simply the renaming of it to reflect the fact that it isn't just a tourist information centre, it isn't just for tourists, and it's also the council offices. So after quite a bit of debate, and there were various views expressed, but it was recommended that it should be renamed the Tourist Information Centre. Oh, sorry, to rename the Tourist Information Centre the Welshpool Town Council and Information Centre, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it says what it does on tin, whatever. Yes.
Yes, Chair. While I welcome the idea of renaming the place and the recommendation from the committee, the recommendation from the committee made it into the press thanks to our valuable local democracy that we have in Welshpool, and it didn't seem to go down as well as it could have done, specifically because of the point you mentioned around it being a bit of a mouthful and a few other comments as well. I wondered if we wanted to politely request maybe the committee reconsider by voting this one down in this particular instance. I intend to, obviously, it's up to each individual council what they do.
Okay, well, I mean, I have no firm views. Welshpool Town Council and Information Centre seems all right to me, but there you go. So let's have a vote anyway. Who's in favour of the recommendation that it be renamed to Welshpool Town Council and Information Centre?
Well, the only other thing, Chairman, you can call it, really, to be truthful, is Welshpool toilets. I don't understand why people have got to criticise all we're trying to do is tell the people of Welshpool,
Yeah.
let them know where they can get the information
Well,
from, and it's a town council.
Maybe we should add the toilets, and just for the sake of completeness, I know, let's have a vote. So yeah, I need a proposer for acceptance of this recommendation.
I move, I'm chairman.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that? No, okay, I'll second it. So who's in favour of that recommendation? I take it it's
1, 2, 3.
3. Those against?
1,
Against.
3, 4, 5.
Okay, so
Only because it is too long.
So that
Sorry?
It is too
so
long.
that would go.
well, so
Right,
the recommendation has failed to be approved by full council.
That's right, it goes back to the committee.
It will go
It will
back
go
to the
back to the
committee.
committee.
Yes.
It will be Welshpool toilets coming up at the next committee, all right? I'm sorry, I got no time for people who don't involve themselves in the committees, even if they're on them or not. And yet come here and try and strike things out. Sorry,
Okay.
not my scene.
Just checking. How did Jackson and Chris and Sally vote?
Don't know.
Because we can't hear them.
I abstained.
Okay, that's fine.
I was against.
Yeah,
I heard
Aaron's
you
against,
against Carol. This is just Chris.
And I was for.
Thank you, Chris.
Bill.
Just want to ensure that you recorded my abstention.
Yes, that's fine. We can record them. But
You go back to the next committee.
I'm not a member of the committee, but I just wonder whether I could make a suggestion to the committee, and that is that it considers calling it the Welshpool Information Centre. But
Sorry,
can
you take his hand away from me? I can't hear you.
Oh, okay, all right.
Thank you.
Okay. The suggestion I have to make to the committee is that they call it the Welshpool Information Centre, but underneath that name, the town council logo appears. So that it's quite clear that it's run by the town council and it's the information centre. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things that was considered. I think it was considered quickly, but we'll reconsider.
I think the difficulty with this one is that some members are thinking about what the sign will be, whereas I just needed the name and then we get to the design of the sign afterwards. How the names were laid out on the sign was a separate issue. We just needed a name, which we could rename the building to, and then look at the signage. But I'm happy to put some mock signs together and bring it all back to the committee in one go, and then you can have them.
Okay.
Okay.
Nick?
I read, sorry, I can't remember who posted it, but I did read on social media that suggestions were made to change the name of the TIC when our previous town clerk was in place, and that signs were actually made.
Oh, I can't find them if they were made.
That's,
The signs
it's
that are
only
there
what
have
I've
been
read,
there for a long
but
time.
I just wonder what the decision was then.
Renamed from the VIC to the TIC.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so contentious, but just the change of name from the Tourist Information Centre to the Visitors Information Centre,
Right.
Inexplicably caused a massive rift, really, and people that have very firm views on what it should be
The
called.
decision then was to change town park rather than to change any name.
We'll refrain from that decision.
So Sally Fitzgerald, she is having problem with her audio, so couldn't speak either. But she wished to abstain.
Okay. Bill, and then we need to move on. So
Yeah. I'm very mindful of the fact that actually we fairly urgently need a proper name so that you can put it on letter headings and things without regard to the sign. So can we probably please ensure that we do actually agree something next time? I abstained simply because I felt that the travel ticket element was being lost in the name, but that's.
Thanks, Bill. Yes, we'll try very hard to come up with something that is universally accepted. I can't guarantee it, but we'll try. Item 5.4, Motte and Bailey. Yeah, okay, so the recommendation here was that the town clerk, in consultation with Councillor Nick Howells, to explore opportunities for working with Welsh bikers for suicide prevention and other parties at the Motte and Bailey, and to report back. Councillor Frant?
Yes, this time I have just a procedural question, really. And I promise I'll be quiet for the rest of at least the operations and development part of the agenda. You might want to refer this question to the town clerk, it's up to you. So my understanding is that, not that I'm making any statements either way, but if we were to vote down this proposal, that we would return to our kind of previous direction of travel, more or less working with local heritage, cultural, environmental, tourism organisations to create a Motte and Bailey site, which all members of the public could, enjoy the mental, physical health benefits of, as per our published strategy and the landfill grant we've applied for and the wishes of the landowner, etc. So it's a yes or no question, basically. Is that more or less correct?
I think so. I mean, this has been it's been quite controversial, quite divisive, really. I think just as a fairly pragmatic summary, the situation is that it was, whilst the Welsh Bikers for the Prevention of Suicide had expressed an interest. Suicide prevention has expressed an interest. We were in talks with them. It became apparent that certainly our landlords and others were against it. That didn't necessarily kill it at that point. Their expression of interest subsequently, I suppose, although they probably retained some residual interest in acquiring the property, the landscape changed a bit because they went to Newtown instead. So it sort of rather came off the agenda without reaching a conclusion. But since then, I think it's true to say that the direction of travel of the council generally has been against having this an area that's operated or controlled by one individual or a group, and instead to explore ways in which it can benefit all the inhabitants of the town as public amenity land. And that I think it's fair that most of our discussions since then have been in that sort of direction. Now, I voted in favour of the proposal that the clerk and Nick could explore this further. I voted in favour of that because I'm always in favour of continuing dialogue. However, we have to remember that ultimately the decision is got to be taken by, or will be taken by, the people whom we rent the land from and who will have it back in 12 years' time. Now, I didn't know what their view currently was, but I had a meeting with Mr. Taverner of Powis Estates on a completely different matter, actually, but the subject of the Motte and Bailey did come up, and he left me in no doubt that their view hasn't changed. The views of the family haven't changed. So whatever we decide, if we decide that we would like to go back to Welsh Bikers for the Prevention of Suicide and invite them to re-tender their interest, I don't think we get anywhere with it. So this is the practical, pragmatic view here is that whatever we decide, is it going to mean anything? I think the answer to that is no. So my suggestion is, I mean, we will vote on the proposal as it stands, and if we don't accept the recommendation, then I suppose we revert back to what we were trying to do before, that when funds become available to us, if and when they become available, that piece of land will be developed for some sort of public amenity. Is that right, Mr. Clark?
Yeah, I think I've already had this conversation with David before. The motion before you doesn't alter our course; it just starts a dialogue again. It's not about changing direction or stopping a direction of travel, because the council has signed up to its strategic plan, which says that we're going to redevelop the Motte and Bailey, and that's our ultimate objective. And of course, this is just fact finding, so we just report back. But if you've already had fact finding with Mr. Taverner, you may find it prudent to not even start the process, because we know that the end result might not even get there. So that's news to me. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, so has anybody got they've got hands up.
I've had my hand up for ages and ages and ages.
There.
Thank you. My concerns about this don't even relate to that. However, the subject came up at the meeting that I was observing through the fact that the clerk with Phil had submitted a bid to Caddy for funding for the what's it called?
Motte and Bailey.
The Motte and Bailey, thank you. And in reading because I'd read the funding bit, because it was enclosed before we went there. And in my view, that direction was totally against the bid for funding and the criteria for funding. And that I didn't want it to jeopardise, and you know what things are like, everything we are an open council, so the public can listen, the press can listen, and it wouldn't be long until, because it's a controversial subject, it would be in the press. And my real concern was that would then jeopardise the awarding of any grant that we might get, because if I was a grant awarding body and read about it, I'd be thinking, well, that's not what they're saying they want to spend the money on. This is about inviting the community in, and here's our strategic objectives. So for me, it was the timing of it, because I do support the bikers, as everybody knows, and the suicide prevention charity. But the timing of it for me was absolutely, we should not be rocking the boat now, before we get an outcome on
well, Cadw's primary objection is simply the preservation of a listed ancient monument, however that is done. But
it says in it to enable the community to use the monument, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It does say things like that in the grant.
And any other source of funding would likely say the same. Who else had their hand up? Richard.
And the thing that puzzles me about this is that my understanding is that the bikers' interest was in the building, if you can call it a building, the shed outside the Modern Bailey, not in the Modern Bailey itself. This bid to Cadw is for the actual Modern Bailey, not for the retention of a shed, which we have been told by our own property advisors is unfit for any use whatsoever and should be removed. And I think a lot of the confusion, I think there is confusion over the Modern Bailey as opposed to the land outside the Modern Bailey. And I tend to agree with Morag that we should consider the Modern Bailey in isolation and proceed with the bid to Cadw for that, because that is not something that the bikers ever expressed an interest in, as I understand it.
No, just to say that the grant isn't to Cadw, it's to the landfill disposal tax, and it includes the entirety of the site that is in our lease.
Okay.
So it's not just about a scheduled monument. It is.
But the interest of the bikers was in the building outside it, which is in a very poor
and we're in the process at the moment of obtaining quotes to demolish it.
Okay. Can I just remind everybody that we're not actually debating this again? We're just voting on a recommendation. But
I've said this before in chamber. Can we stop referring to this group generically as the bikers? We are now talking about a registered charity.
I didn't refer to them as the bikers.
No, but several other people did.
Yeah. Well, people do.
And
you have in the past.
Well, I know quite a few of them rather well now. But and if the council wishes me to, at any stage, to liaise with them, I'm more than happy to do so. But there was confusion. They were interested in the actual Victoria Bowling Green clubhouse, which they were going to renovate, as well as the old bike shed, as we called it. And I was assured by Jeff Green that amongst their group, they do have Cadw approved contractors, roofers and builders, etc. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere now. But I just, sorry, I don't like prejudice.
That's why I gave what I hoped was a fairly pragmatic summary. It's where we could go with this and where we can't, really.
I personally don't think it will ever go back to the charity now.
That's probably right, Phil.
As chairman of the committee, Chair, let me say this. The place looks a bloody mess at the moment. It's got old fencing all stuck around it, all over the place, higgledy-piggledy, right? And it's quite right. there's two different aspects to this. One is the Motte Bailey, and the other is the surrounding land, which has nothing to do with the Motte Bailey. It's just a shed that a bloke used to repair cycles in, right?
Yes.
It's falling down.
Mm,
Half of it is already on the ground.
yeah.
That's normal with a building, so it must be 3/4 by now. But at the end of the day, you know, if this council don't want anything done with it, so be it, say so. Right? All I do know is those bikers have made a different approach and said we would still be interested.
Mm,
And let's think about courtesy here. We never ever replied to those. I shouldn't call them bikers, but those people never replied to them. This council just decided, oh, they got a place in Newtown now, so we're going to ignore them, and that's exactly what happened, right? They didn't have any reply or anything from this council, and quite honestly, they are looking. Their words are they're looking to have 3 or 4 bases in Montgomeryshire, right? And this was one of them, and they would still like to be involved. But forget it. Take it off the paper.
okay, well, I'm told that we did give them a formal written response, but okay, so there's where are we? We're gonna have, let's put this to the vote then. So I think, is anybody proposing that we accept the recommendation of this committee?
The recommendation from the
5-4?
committee is put before the council. Simple as that.
Yeah, so is there a proposal to accept this recommendation? Okay, seconder for that? Bill, thank you. So those in favour of the recommendation as
Can I have your
drafted here,
vote, please,
5-4?
Chairman?
Yes, of course. Okay, Bill, start with you.
Oh,
Richard,
Against.
Phil,
Four.
Ben,
Against.
Nick,
Or
Morag,
Against.
Dave,
against.
Phil, Owen,
Against.
Chris,
4.
Jackson,
Against.
Carol,
Against.
and Sally. You got your hand up, so I assume that's a 4.
Yeah.
Let me just tally those up. So it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, which means it's 1,
7 against.
7. So the motion is rejected.
I should say that I only voted against it because I can't see where it can go. I mean, it's
Oh, about time you woke up and I looked at it then, Chairman. Sorry, everybody else can see it when they go down there.
okay. Item.
So
Yes.
I feel like it would be useful to reiterate to the public that the council is actively, you know, we're applying for this grant, we're actively seeking other sources of funding to make the most of the site for the general public.
Yep.
This isn't just a case of we want it to fall to rack and ruin. This is we are already doing quite a lot towards making it the best site it can be.
Yeah, look, you know, we have responsibilities as under the lease that we have with the Parish Estates to make sure that the buildings are kept in a good condition. Of course, we need to work towards that. It is a scheduled monument, so we have extra responsibilities in that regard under the appropriate acts. We have fenced it off for safety reasons because there was people getting in, vandalism, etc. We found lots of drug paraphernalia down there. You know, it's an enclosed space. There is money in next year's budget for CCTV over the area, along with some money put towards professional fees and start the process of regenerating that area. The council in September signed up to its strategic plan, which says ultimately that we are going to restore the Motte Bailey and make it an open space for the people of the town. And we have put together a working group who submitted a grant for £50,000 to enable it to be an outside event space with a semi-permanent stage, canopy, sound system, benches, interpretation boards, car park, you know, that type of approach. And we're just waiting to hear back from the grant. So when we hear back, we'll let. But I don't think that the council still signed up position is that it wishes to restore the Motte Bailey. However, the council does need to think carefully about spending taxpayers' money on a site that they were potentially giving back in 12 years' time. If you're going to spend substantial amounts of taxpayers' money, it would also make sense that you renegotiate the lease with Palace Estates. I have spoken to them informally and they're open to renegotiate that lease, because of course you don't want to spend £200,000 fixing a building and then give it back in 12 years. You'd have to extend that lease period to make sure the town can benefit from it. Bill?
Chairman, just to repeat what has been said, we are talking on this motion was about the cycle shed and the periphery of this. It's nothing to do with the Motte and Bailey.
Sorry, when I say Motte and Bailey, I mean the entire site.
Sorry?
When I say Motte and Bailey, I mean the entire
I know you do, but this part is about some guys who will rebuild the shed and everything else. Forget it. You're not interested in the people of Welshpool. It's as simple as that.
Okay. So anyway, let's move on to the next recommendation, which was the hire charges, a discount of 20% for monthly or weekly repeat bookings. And we calculated, I think, now how much that would actually cost us.
Yeah, and this was done in private session, so if you want to have a real big discussion about it, I would recommend that you exclude public and press, have the debate, and then we'll re-enter public session. Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Okay, can I have a proposal that we go into private session? Thank you, Phil. Seconder. Thank you, Morag. Those in favour?
Hands up.
I'll do it again with the just hang on.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, Richard. I have to leave, I'm afraid.
It's not possible to defer it till the end of the
Should we defer it to the end? Should we defer it to the end?
I thought that's what we meant.
Okay, you can go about. We'll defer it to the end.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. You'll have to vote to readmit. Because you did vote to it.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. Is there a seconder to readmit Richard? Yes, thank you. Those in favour. You're readmitted, Richard.
That's fine. So we'll defer that until the end.
Okay. And that goes for item 13.
It just depends if you want to have a discussion or not. If you're happy with the recommendation the committee have put forward, you can vote on that now. But if you want to defer it, then you can.
Yeah, I think there's a discussion to be had about it, isn't there? I think so.
It's up to a member's field.
No views?
If you're happy to take that now, then it saves time later.
I would be interested to hear how much it would cost, but if that's something that needs to be deferred, then probably better to defer it.
It would prove to be quite costly for us.
Right. Item 13.
As in the proposals.
Okay.
Okay,
well, then defer it.
We'll defer it. 9.3 Audit Committee. Alison isn't here.
Sorry, we deferring to the bowling club recommendation to that.
I think that's just what Dave said.
I see no reason for a discussion on that, since it's about instructing you to process negotiations rather than more. But anyway, okay.
We could deal with that now.
Well, it is to authorise expenditure, which I think you said you wanted to discuss. But if you're happy not to discuss it, we could have a.
I must admit, I thought that Dave was
item 12.
Was referring to item 12 and the possible cost of a 20% discount. But anyway,
yes, sorry, that is what. Yes,
okay, fine.
To avoid further confusion,
okay,
I specifically meant the cost of the 20%.
Can I have a vote to accept the proposal in item 13? Is there a seconder? Thank you, Morag. Those in favour?
Hands up.
Lord Chairman.
Item 13.
Thank you all. I think that was unanimous. So it's just item 12 that's deferred. Audit Committee 9.3. We've got the recommendations of the committee meeting on the 16th of January.
Yes,
there were two.
This was the one where you left early, Phil. I don't even think you would be there, more. No, you were there.
I was there, but I'm
yes,
not a member
and
of the
Phil
committee.
And Richard, you were.
No, I
Ben, you were. In Alison's absence, we went through the finance and governance toolkit, which is a very long document, but we went through it. We went through it item by item, and you'll see in the minutes there. Everyone agreed with all of the aspects besides the ones that are listed there, which we're working through currently. And then they also looked at the evaluation of services, and they wanted to go next with the TIC, or whatever it's going to be called. So the recommendation there is to appoint Alison and Morag to conduct the next evaluation of services exercise on the Tourist Information Centre and report back before the end of the financial year. Just say that's why it's in the financial year. It's because in our strategic plan we have an action TIC 1, which says that to review the TIC, and that's why that's the letter to fit that action. And this was the one where where Phil, you asked to go on the group, but nobody was in the room. Was proposed you would go on the group. So that's
I can bring that up now, Chairman. I asked to go on the group. It had been decided that Alison and Morag were going to do that one last month. So I was promised I'd be in the group the next time I came up to committee. So that's now. All of a sudden, I'm not allowed to go according to Alison. It was raised at the last week's meeting. I'm not allowed to be on it and this and the other. So, you know, if I'm persona non grata, tell me I'll bugger off for good. Because I'm sick and fed up with this 9-5 situation. And quite honestly, I would like to be in the group. Because I think that when they're doing audits, the first thing we should do is look at who's got the experience to do these things, one thing or the other. And I certainly have. I've run companies with 8,000 people in. Me. But if I'm not allowed to go on it, just tell me so. No problem.
Chairman, I believe the reason was, Phil, that you're chairman of the committee that manages the TIC. And so they report to operations committee and you were the chair. And therefore it wasn't appropriate that you're on the
TIC report to
So Alison's chairman of the audit committee. Where's that put her?
well, she doesn't manage.
the
TIC doesn't report.
No,
The TIC doesn't report to the ops committee.
that's right.
It reports to the events and planning committee.
The CIC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was I thought that was.
Well, I have no objection to anybody being on any committee or body within this council. I guess we have rules as to how people are elected, how many people we can have on each, that sort of thing, and we can't all be on every single one of you. But I've got absolutely no objection if you want to be on it, and this room can be found.
Can I suggest we discuss that with Alison?
Okay.
No, sorry. She's made her apologies tonight. It's on the agenda for tonight's meeting. It's tonight's meeting to discuss it. Kick me off if you want to, no problem. I'll kick me away. I don't mind. But let's be open and honest about it.
Well, it's not actually, it's not on the agenda for discussion. We've just got a recommendation for the next evaluation of.
But I was promised that I'd be on it, Chairman, by that committee.
You weren't promised.
Hmm?
You weren't promised.
Well, I'm sorry, I was.
Well, Chair, I mean, there's nothing to do about, yes.
Well, what's the town clerk's opinion then? Because
Can I propose we move to a vote on both items 5 and 6?
Well, we have to vote on the recommendation as drafted.
I propose we accept the recommendations 5 and 6.
Is there a seconder? David. Okay, so those in favour, and we're talking about both item 5 and item 6.
Hands up.
Chris, you voted? No? Against?
Vote no. There's 8-4.
Okay.
So there is a majority in favour of adopting the recommendations.
Okay.
But you might as well
Well,
against.
so those against, please show.
Chris.
One against. Okay.
Abstentions.
I don't think there are. There's nobody left. Is there abstentions? Oh, you're abstaining. Okay. Right, you have. Okay, item 9 for Finance and Governance, January 2026. This is Appendix F. So, SU Morag, we've got 1, 2, it's mostly to do with.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Please don't intimidate councillors, Phil. You're not very
And
good.
you.
What about me, Phil?
We'll meet again.
I'm sure we will. I look forward to it. He's always so pleasant, you know. I always look forward to meeting Phil. I'm like, it's Phil. Oh, my day has been made.
Okay.
Okay, back to the minutes. Let's carry on.
Oh, he's coming back.
Item 5.3, secure scrutiny of payments. So it's recommended to appoint the following members. So it's Councillor Pritchard, in for December in January, because they're all a month behind. Councillor Belevius, in February for January's, Councillor Richard Church for March, for February's, and Councillor William Rowell for March in April. And if anybody else would like to volunteer to carry out the scrutiny sessions, then let us know, and we'll include you in the list ongoing.
Don't do that.
Item 6 was the budget, and we looked at the final vision of the budget, or the final draft budget, for 2007-8 and 2008-9, and the draft budget for 2026-07.
You can ignore that one because it's on the agenda.
It's on the
later
agenda.
anyway, so you
So
don't
that
have
was
to
the
adopt that one.
three-year budgets that we looked at, so they are recommended. We looked at the 7.1 was the complaints, comments and feedback policy, and we recommend that to you. There was only 3 words taken out of the policy. I could tell you what they are if you wanted to know, but so David?
Chair, could we ask Councillor Pritchard? I feel like he's trying to intimidate me. It's not working again, he's not very good at it. But if I were someone who were more easily intimidated by Councillor Pritchard, this might be quite inappropriate. So could we ask Councillor Pritchard to moderate his behaviour, please, Chair?
Yeah, Phil, don't do that. I mean, you welcome to.
No, forget it.
You're so cosy as well. Oh well.
Okay.
Item 7.2 was the gritting and snow removal policy. It's a new policy, and following the extreme weather we've had, it's very timely. Item 7.3 were the financial regulations, which have been updated to meet the current working practice. Item 8.1 was petty cash and prepaid cards, and that's to approve the phasing out of petty cash to a level set by contained in the financial regulations, and to authorise the town clerk to implement prepaid debit cards or spend cards to not exceed the value set in the financial regulations for authorised purchasing officers, and we will be holding a schedule of who are purchasing officers, and that is to counteract the fact that Lloyds Bank, who are our bankers, we can no longer deposit cheques. And issues with cash as well.
Yeah.
Item 12.1, the operations team review. That was recommended to appoint Councillor Phil Owen, Phil Pritchard, and Warwick Bailey to work with the town clerk on the review into the operations team and to report back by the end of February. So that will be a short review.
Yeah.
And lastly, item 12.2, which was staffing update, it was recommended to delegate to the town clerk the recruitment of the posts, which was the part-time 10 hours a week cleaner.
Yeah. Bill,
I would propose that we accept all of those.
thank you. Thank you, Nick. So those in favour, please.
Heads up.
Did you vote there, Chris? Chris, did you vote in favour? No. Okay.
What did you vote on?
The
Adopting all of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did the whole lot.
Who proposed and seconded?
It was proposed by Bill, seconded by Nick, and it was unanimous apart from Chris, who voted against. Okay, so we'll move on to finance, which is item 10. Please,
I've got a bit mixed up here. I'm looking at item 7, evaluation of services that hub. Can I make a brief statement?
We did that one about 3 meetings ago, Nick.
Right, well, can I make a brief statement about the hub anyway?
Yeah, okay.
It'll only take a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But I will definitely not be restanding for election in 2027. And the hub is running like clockwork at the moment. As you know, or most of you know, I've pretty much run it and led on it right from day one. Thankfully now I have more ag and Bill who are there regularly with me. But come beginning of May, start of the summer season, we go back to 1 day and we stop doing the potatoes. So we'll go through the summer doing the normal beans on toast, toasted, etc., etc. But come the start of October, when we go back to spuds and 2 days a week, I would suggest that I stand back a bit, not totally, obviously, but other people start taking over all the running around and the shopping and the dealing with the potatoes and all the rest of it. So we've got continuity when I stand down. Because I'll be honest, when I stand down, I won't be running around on a Monday and a Wednesday doing the shopping for the hub.
Okay.
I'll probably still volunteer and come and help
I
out.
can't imagine you not.
I'll probably still, if I'm able, still continue to attend that, but I won't be a lead on it.
Okay.
So it's just
Okay.
something I wanted to put
Yeah,
forward.
so we need to bear that in mind going forward, and people are going to have to step up, I guess, and
Yeah, if you note what the council just adopted, Nick, it says that they gave the authority to the staff member, community services manager, to operate the hub with reference to you. More
I've read that, yeah.
So council have now agreed
That doesn't cover the shopping and dealing with the
No,
potatoes and taking them
but
to
we
the
will
day
give a
centre.
proper handover plan with you.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to miss your valuable insights, definitely. And
Because I obviously wanted to carry on running with it
and you know,
it's growing.
it's a council service, and you know, as my team will continue to carry it on, you know, with the volunteers. So it definitely will not go, and we'll definitely have a proper handover plan in place. But
Thank you.
and I think you know, I've only been here coming a year, and in that time, you know, it's clear that the work Nick did on the hub setting up in the first place was exemplary. So thank you, Nick,
absolutely
for your service to the hub.
Yeah.
You're not leaving us, you know, you've got another year and a couple of months yet.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say that we need a proper handover.
Yeah, we will do.
Could we, as a council, note some thanks to Nick? Because I don't feel like we do that often enough in terms of how instrumental he's been, as you said, town clerk, setting it up, running the hub, which has become, you know, one of by far the best services we provide, and an award-winning service.
Absolutely, and Nick will always be remembered for the work he's done at the hub. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, and it would never have happened without him. And we all recognise that, and it's going to be very difficult to replace you, Nick. But we'll just have to. We'll have to try. And I know if I know you, as I think I know you, you won't be able to stay away anyway. So you'll always have some involvement with it. Yeah. Okay. Bill?
I just wanted to make the point, firstly, that last Thursday's hub was one of the best attended ever. And when you look around the more than 70 people who were there that day, we reach out to so many different parts of the community and provide a safe space for so many different sorts of people. That's really an amazing thing. Second thing just to say is, Mr. Chair, that there is a lanyard with your name on it, if you ever like to.
I have been known to go once or twice, and I will try. No, I know. I should go more often. I know.
So, Chair, can I just add that actually trying to get Nick to sit down and take a bit of a back seat is very difficult.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So where were we? Finance, item 10. Seems the accounts were just similar on them. Those are appendix H and I. That's the income and expenditure reports. Cash and bank total for December. And you see the figures there and in the appendix. Do we need to accept? Do we need to do anything about those? Or they?
You'll need to note, but you need to vote to note them.
Okay, so we need a vote that we've noted them.
Suppose we do that.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Ben. So
Seconded.
proposed by Bill, seconded by Ben. Those in favour?
Adds up.
I think that's unanimous. Are you voting on that, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4. Okay, so
Just to note that we've received our final instalment of the Precept. That's why the graph looks so big for December.
yeah.
I'm required to tell you when we get the Precept in. So that's yeah.
Item 10.2, the payment of the invoices for January, they're all listed there at Appendix J. So unless anybody has any points they want to raise or issues in relation to that, is there a proposal for payment of those invoices? Thank you, Ben. Seconder. Thank you, Bill. Those in favour?
Heads up.
Thank you. I think that was unanimous. Yeah, Chris has put his hand up, so that's unanimous.
They did go through the Finance and Governance Committee as well. So
Yeah. Okay, moving on to other matters, starting with the car parking trial, which I gather was quite a success for Adfract.
Well, so you've got the report in front of you. Those of you who can remember the November meeting, we looked at this issue then and noted that other towns in Powys were doing a similar thing to what we were proposing to do. And it was decided that we deferred the paper from November until January, until we had the trial of the free Christmas parking over the Christmas period. Of course, that was free on 4 Saturdays, which was the 29th of November, which was our winter festival, 6th, the 13th, and the 20th of December. As you know, we have to pay Powys to make them free, and the cost is around £237 off the top of my head, and there's an admin fee then of £85. I don't want to rehash the stuff you've already heard, but since I wrote this paper, so the other town that was looking at doing this was Newtown. They have gone with our tact of free parking for their summer months, so June, July, and August at a cost of £3,000, I believe. And Brecon, I think, is continuing their free Saturday parking. I don't know how much theirs costs. But basically, as part of the trial, we did a survey with the businesses and we hand-delivered letters to businesses around the town, which was really successful. It was actually great because it actually built up a relationship as well with our business community, with the council, which is, that's not a bad thing. We had 12 businesses respond. 10 of the 12 responded saying that free parking was beneficial, very beneficial. Unfortunately, though, businesses don't pay towards this, of course, because we don't get any share of non-domestic rates. So we only get the Precept, which is council tax, so that's residents only. So businesses don't contribute towards this scheme at all. However, they thought it was particularly positive. People were able to browse the street longer, generally making the high street more vibrant, which is a fantastic thing. And people asked us to please introduce this often and lower the parking charges. However, we don't have the authority to do that. We only have the authority to make it free, or it's the Powys charges. And when we did the last Saturday in December, we changed tact from free parking to pay what you can parking. I think, Ben, you'd mentioned it in a meeting and took that mantra on board. And actually, the donations we received changed just based on that. People were more inclined to donate on the last day. We actually had cash and TIC hand online as well. So donations are higher on that. So if you were to adopt this, I would recommend going down that route to pay what you can park as opposed to free parking. The trial that we're looking for is around April to September, so the tourist season for us, 26 weeks. As you can see here from a financial aspect, the cost of the council is £5,999.08, which translates to a bandy cost of £2.13 per year. That would be if you did it by the Precept. Before you have a debate, I just want to give you some more financial options if you wanted to have them. So you've got option 1, which is to raise the money to pay for the scheme in the Precept. So add that additional amount into your budget, which then comes out in your budget calculations later on, which then increases the bandy equivalent. Option 2 would be that you move money around in the budget that's already on the agenda this evening. So move money from another budget heading to fill the gap, therefore not raising the Precept by as much or at all. Or the third option would be that you earmark some of the underspend in this year. There will be an underspend in the current year. We know that from the staff salaries budget in admin, for example, it's only 50% spent. That's due to staff vacancies and things like that not being fulfilled. So there will be an underspend there. You could decide to earmark £5,999 from this year's underspend and then roll that forward to next year, meaning that you could trial the scheme next year at a cost neutral point because you've already raised the money in this year's budget. Therefore, there wouldn't be a Precept element to the next year's budget, if that makes sense. So that's the 3 options that you've kind of got. Unless anyone's got a fourth, I will gladly listen to it. But that's my summary, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Richard. That was
happy to answer.
Very good, very good. Councillor France.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm glad this trial has been well received and reportedly has been effective. Of course, this was the festive period, so what we're suggesting here is collecting more data and seeing if it's effective outside of that period. And while, as the town clerk said, residents are subsidising this for businesses in the town. I mean, I'm in one of the Band D properties that the town clerk mentioned. But you know, when our local businesses thrive, the whole town thrives. So I do feel it's worth experimenting with the pay what you can approach. My personal preference, what I'm drawn to, is transferring that underspend from this financial year to the next one. Obviously, I welcome hearing other opinions.
Yeah, it is difficult, I think, but evaluating this sort of thing around Christmas, where you have increased traffic, increased parking, increased revenue to shops in the town, it's quite hard to judge exactly what effect this has. But has somebody got their hand up on that? Okay, more out.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to ask the clerk actually, have you identified anywhere within the current budget that could be moved?
Just special projects. Everyone else is pretty tight, but that would diminish special projects to just 4,000.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's an appropriate sum for members to think about. Then you know the two, if you're not happy with that one, the two best options then are earmark. But of course, earmarking means that money does not go back into general reserve, and you'll see later in the agenda the warnings about general reserves being particularly low.
Yeah.
Or then you raise the money you add this to the budget now, and then the budget conversation later on the agenda, we add that amount in and it's raised in the precept. The difficulty with the trial, this is the downfall of the trial. Once people see it this year, they may expect it in 2027, especially considering what is happening in Welshpool in July 2020.
Nick and then Bill.
Yeah, my bugbear with this, I thought it was great in December. I did have a couple of concerns that I saw people parking in the short stay car park, and people were confused how they'd seen some of the advertisements about free parking, and we weren't allowed to put signs on the car parking machines.
No.
Powys County Council don't contribute anything to this scheme. I mean, to help out the towns in the county. And for the first time in a long time, I saw traffic wardens working on a Saturday in town, and I talked to a couple of people that had parked in the short stay, and in all good faith, not paid because they thought free parking in Welshpool, and come back to a parking ticket on their car.
Right.
Which I thought, you know, Merry Christmas from Powys County Council. It was a bit of a stitch up actually, and it did annoy me immensely.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly hampers things.
They just won't let us hire second starts. If they did, I probably would the one I'd suggest that you make free, because that's the one in the town centre.
Yeah.
And I know in Church Street as well, we're not allowed to put things on the machines, which means the machine's still active.
Yeah.
And actually, I saw on social media that someone said that they paid during the, and you know, Powys collect their revenue and their own on that day.
Yeah.
So if you were to go forward, we need to actually have a conversation with Powys about, can they turn the machines off in the period, or can we put a bag over them?
Yeah, certainly some way has to be found of making that work better, because it is confusing. I agree with you, Bill.
Yeah, a couple of things really. Firstly, I do feel that it's a huge shame that Powys aren't actually involved in this, other than just taking our money, and that whether we should make common cause with Newtown and Brecon and any other towns in Powys that are considering similar things, to see if we can't do it as a joint enterprise with Powys County Council. You know, they list as one of the things that they are anxious about is the regeneration of our town centres. I think you know, it's actually fairly small beer considering, you know, out of their total budget, and it's something that's ought to be considered.
Yeah.
Second thing though is at Christmas we were talking basically about people living in and around Welshpool. Summer is a different thing. We are talking predominantly of people passing through on their way to the coast, or perhaps staying in the local campsites and caravan parks. So one of my anxieties is how we actually make clear to people that there is free parking on Saturday. How do we actually get that message across to people? as they approached the town. I mean, these are people who perhaps come through every year, and so they know that car park machines are difficult to use and horribly expensive, and so they may have already factored out Welshpool in their plans.
Yeah, I think with a longer trial period, it gives us the chance to advertise it properly, and then it's a continued approach. But we do it multifaceted, so we put some signs out last time, but we put some new, this every Saturday free, on the entrance to the car park. And we follow up on other mediums, we put it in our newsletter, put it on social media, we try as much as possible. Maybe we even need to go to the tourist places and tell them so they can communicate it with their customers, because we're not going to be able to reach those tourists, directly, but indirectly we might be able to.
Yeah. Okay, has anybody else got anything they want to say about this? And if not, does Bill?
Just one, Chair. I have noted that we haven't had a traffic warden in Welshpool since Christmas.
Have we not?
We have not had a traffic warden appear in Welshpool since Christmas, right? Are they all working from home or what? I don't understand it.
I don't.
Someone I was talking to had a conversation with the traffic warden the other day, so they are applicating.
I wonder if our county councillor will inquire for us. Why is it that all of a sudden there's no appearance of traffic warden in Welshpool since Christmas? I'd just like an answer.
I've seen a traffic warden since Christmas, so I'm not sure that information is correct.
Can I just say something, please? We have got a new traffic warden, and he's a new gentleman that's come on board.
Yeah,
I'm aware of that. He booked me about a week before Christmas.
Thank you, Carol. Yeah, I haven't seen a traffic warden for a while. I haven't had a parking ticket since before Christmas, so I don't know what that means.
I have seen them in.
Okay, right.
I'd just like to know if they're all working from home or what's happening.
Well, who knows?
Maybe place-based workers.
So, does anybody want to make a proposal? We have these options to consider, or somebody if they may have an alternative. But Morag?
I'm happy. I think we should do it. So I'm proposing the recommendations, but going for option C, which is to use the overspend.
Okay.
Overspend.
Understand, not overspend.
Okay.
Underspend.
Underspend.
So it would be so basically tonight you would earmark from staff salaries now the amount.
Yes.
In this year, and then next year we'd use that amount to pay for it. I'll write that down.
Okay. Is there a seconder for that proposal? Thank you, Bill.
Chair,
Yes.
could I suggest it could be an amendment as your line of inquiry, Councillor Rowell, which is to write to the other, substantially sized market towns in Paris, including Newtown that you mentioned, and see if we can collectively engage with the county council, because as much as the local businesses thriving causes the town to thrive, it does financially directly benefit the county council in a way that it does not us. So it might be worth throwing our hats in the ring together collectively.
So you're basically
Yes,
you're earmarking funds, approving the scheme, and writing to the other towns.
Chairman, that's a different proposal. It's not an amendment, it's a different proposal.
Could I suggest, Mr. Chair, that we vote on the proposal that Lauren's made, and then if there's a second proposal that we do as
okay. I mean, more active.
Recorded vote, please, Chairman.
Yeah. So the motion you're actually voting on, and forget me if I'm wrong, Morag. So you're saying you're going to earmark the funds in this year's budget and approve the scheme. That's what the motion that you're voting on. So Morag has proposed it. Bill has seconded it. Recorded vote is as follows. So Bill,
for
Richard,
Abstain.
Phil,
or
Ben,
or
Nick, or
surprised, but Liverpool did score from a corner. Yeah, and they've been very successful in the Champions League with set pieces as well.
Chris, hang on, Chris. I muted you. Sorry, Phil. 4. Okay, Chris.
I'm not saying that.
Against.
Against. Jackson
Or
and Carol
Four.
and Sally. Oh, Sally's not here.
Yeah, Sally's, Laura had reported that Sally was having problems, so.
We should have an audio problems.
Oh, I didn't see
He
who
was indicating with a
Yeah.
thumb before.
Okay, well, Sally's not here.
Okay,
So that seems to be in favour. So,
okay, that's carried then.
but if you want to follow up.
Yes, I propose we write to the other, substantially sized towns in Paris, the councils of those towns, to see if there's interest in engaging collectively bargaining, if you will,
Yeah,
with Paris County Council to
Yeah.
see if they're interested in participating in a free parking scheme.
we are going to be
considering
having
their
discussions, I
financial
think, if I'm right, about possibility of working with our neighbouring market towns to promote our markets, the towns with the market charter. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, we're doing that anyway.
And possibly discussions over things like increasing visitors and trade by these parking schemes could be discussed as part of that, maybe.
Happy to second.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to second it, but Ben's not.
Okay. Right, those in, Phil?
Can I just ask to consider one thing? Instead of picking on 2 or 3 towns to go and talk to, why don't we send a circular on this to every town in Powys? Because there's a hell of a lot of towns who would support something like this for free parking, but they just don't know how to go about it, or they don't do it. But I think we should circulate something to all towns in Powys. They jump at the chance.
at the discretion of the town clerk. Obviously, some towns don't have Paris County Council car parks, but yeah.
No, I mean, not every town in Paris, but certainly the towns in our part of Paris. Yeah. Okay, that's not. Yep. Okay. Good. Right. Time's getting on. We've got a few to get through yet, so we'll move on quickly to Tour de France. What's that? I don't know. What is the Tour?
Some old bike race or
Yeah.
something.
So it was proposed to me that
Not more bikes.
you might consider. Consider the establishment of a special committee, advisory committee, in relation to Tour de France starting in Welshpool. So to consider putting together a committee. If you're happy with putting together a committee, I'll go away and work on terms of reference and bring it back with membership in terms of reference at our next meeting.
Yeah.
And then possibly allocating some money from a budget. So that the budget proposed there is to allocate £5,000 from the salaries budget from Meals on Wheels. Now, we put the money in the budget because we didn't know where we were going to be with the transfer of Meals on Wheels, but we now know we're going to be much earlier than the next financial year. So that potential money is just sitting there, not doing anything. So it was suggested that maybe we put that money instead in a special fund called Tour de France, and maybe next year do exactly the same. So we build a pot of money, £10,000 or whatever, to put towards direct things and events in relation to Tour de France when it comes next.
And as I've already said, I'm keen that we should really try to maximise the benefit to the town that we're undoubtedly going to get from this, or potentially could get. So I would propose that Richard goes away, works on some TOR, brings it back. We leave the constitution of the committee, its members, until we know what the terms of reference are, and then we get to work and try to put some stuff together as quickly as possible, because time will rapidly run away with us, because this event seems like it's a long way away, but it actually isn't. Bill, I think first, and then Richard, and then Phil.
If that is
It's not me, Chair.
I didn't see you.
That's it.
I can't.
I'm happy to defer to Laura.
Laura, go on, Laura.
Sorry.
You can go first.
Only to say I think it's an excellent idea, and I propose we do just that.
Okay, thank you.
I was simply have my hand up to, if that was a proposal from the chair, I was going to second it, but I'll second Laura's proposal instead.
Could I just ask, when you consider those terms of reference, that we consider co-opting onto such a body representatives of local cycling whether it's the local cycling club, I'm not sure, I don't know, anyway,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
there is, then we can want people on.
Council committees don't have to wholly consist of councillors.
Yeah.
Except the finance one, which has to, but I think, you know, we can invite who we want.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'll bear that in mind. That'll be fine.
Cycles.
Just that I agree with everything that's going on, but shouldn't this have gone to the events committee first?
Well, no, because it's a
It is a big event for Welshpool.
It is, but it's not our event,
not
so I.
That's never been a consideration.
This is a full council thing to create the committee.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the committee don't know anything about it.
No, it will do.
No, they will do after the event. That's not the way it should work. You
Well-
go to the committee, you please yourself, I feel.
Well, the committee will have a lot of work to do between now and when it takes place. I think this is just,
Has that got anything to do with it?
yeah, I think so.
No, there's a certain matter of courtesy. We appoint committees to deal with those things, and this is one of them things. It should have gone there first. I'm not saying that what we're saying is wrong, it's right. But let's
Yeah.
follow the proper procedure.
Okay. Anyway, we got a proposal and a seconder for the terms of reference to be established and then to set up the committee. So can we have a vote in favour of that, please?
And the budget move.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes.
Could record it, please, sir.
Yes, of course. Sorry, let me just write it down. So Bill, 4. Richard,
4.
Phil,
Abstain.
Ben,
4.
Nick,
I'll abstain, Clark, because I was in the room, I'm sorry.
that's fine. Morag,
4.
Dave,
4.
Phil,
4.
Chris has left us before the vote. Jackson
All.
and Carol,
4.
thank you.
Chair, if I might, sorry, just very quickly, I was trying to say, in the terms of reference, if we can, we have an urgent need to discuss accommodation across.
Yeah.
That could well be the most urgent.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I think it needs to incorporate everything.
Is it likely that the new hotel at
No.
I
is going to be
believe,
completed by then? It
I
must
believe
be
that
quite
council had
close.
discussions with the developer regarding the fact that Tour de France is coming and it might be worth their economic interest to crack
Get on with it. Yeah, quite right. Okay.
But it,
Thanks,
but
Ben.
members of the public, if you've got a spare room, I'd let it out.
rent a room.
Might make some money.
Family Greece.
Okay, thank you all. 11-3 Bulls Ingle. Get an update on.
Just to say that they have started planting. And I saw pictures this evening and they look like they've done quite a lot of planting.
They are very
I've
small.
been and had a look, actually, yeah, they're really getting stuck into it.
They're very small, spindly trees, but they seem to be well put in. I'm really very happy with.
So we can just say they're very small workmen, and that would explain why one of them disappeared down the hole.
Yeah, I sincerely hope that video is going to make it onto Facebook. Or something.
Well, I suggest if anybody's going to have a look at the Bold Ingle, they put their swimming costume on it.
What
Yeah.
are we trying to do with the agenda item going forward now? Because I think you decided to leave it on until they started planting, but do you want me to leave it on a bit longer until
Yeah,
just
I
so you
think
can
so.
keep up to date?
I think we need
I
to
think it's worthwhile.
keep abreast of what's happening, yeah. Right, unless there's any, Dave.
Yes, just a quick question, if that's okay, Chair. Well, obviously, it's regrettable that this took as long as it did and that the trees perhaps aren't more mature that they are installing. I'm sure a lot of people in town will be breathing a sigh of relief that this project is actually underway. I wondered if we had any information regarding the long-term plan for the site, because I understand there were discussions around, will this be a nature reserve? Will this be accessible to the public? Do we know anything other than just they are planting some trees?
The long-term solution to the site was that they wanted us to take it over.
Yeah.
Yes. And we didn't get back to them, so they had to carry on with the planting. That's I think there's their view. I can write to them and ask them what their long-term strategy is and bring it back to the next.
I think they were rather hoping that we'd say, yes, we'd be very happy to have it, and then we'd do all the work for them.
Give it 5 years and the sycamore will take over.
The community liability transfer
Wanted to
process.
be a burial ground next, like,
Bill?
I think the sycamore will take over long in advance of that, actually, but I mean, I would be very much in favour of us taking it over if there was a community group we could pass it on to. There isn't a community group, and one of the reasons why there isn't is it's been so badly handled from the start.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to 11.4. This is the hustings, whether we want to hold hustings in the town hall for the upcoming Senedd election.
Chair, this is something that you've done previously. I was going through some minutes this week for an FOI and found many occasions where you did general election hustings. I think it's really important for local democracy that you engage with this. You know, look, yesterday the Senedd approved its budget, 27 billion. They're not just a talking shop. They do have significant powers over Welsh lives, and in particular, Montgomeryshire still has a held out view that it does not agree with devolution and therefore just ignores it. But it does happen, and this election is important for lots of things because the electoral system is changing, and we are part of a new constituency, a constituency stretching from the Llŷn Peninsula to the border just down the road, the biggest in Wales, Gwynedd Maldwyn. So I would urge you to consider holding hustings in the town hall, maybe defer this one to the events committee so they can organise something properly. Of course, it probably won't happen until April, end of April, because that's when we'll know who the actual candidates are.
Bill's first.
Bill.
I'd like to propose that we do this, but I would also just urge that we consult with other people, perhaps the churches, just to see whether they have similar plans. But if you don't want to duplicate things, it would be far best to do it together.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Well, it's seconded. I'd like a recorded vote, please, Chairman.
okay. Ben?
Yeah, I'm going to vote in favour as well, but just to say that we don't actually have to wait till April if we don't want to, because the first Gwynedd Maldwyn hustings is happening tomorrow night in Adver, near between Castell Corenium and Llanfairpwll.
Well, that's good to know.
Okay. Right. So there's a proposal in favour. That was who seconded it? That Phil, you did, yeah. So those in favour?
Phil asked for it to be recorded.
Oh yes, he did. So
Heads up.
So all those in favour, so Bill,
it's a recorded vote, Carol.
4.
Richard,
4.
Ben,
4.
4.
4.
Dave, Phil,
4.
Jackson,
4.
and Carol.
4.
Okay. So I'll put that on the events committee agenda for discussion. I'm surprised they're starting already because we don't know who the candidates are for most of the parties, but that's good that they're starting already.
Quite a few of the parties have given their full list now. It's just that about 2 or 3, one major one, 2 or 3 small parties who haven't.
Thanks, Ben. Okay, moving on to 12, item 12, budget and the precepts. We approved the budget for 2026-2027 and the reports and the budgets are there in appendices LMA. Richard, do you want to?
I don't know, more, do you want to say anything?
Only, Chair, that we've had a number of goes at this. It's been gone through line by line by line by line on many occasions. And I think Richard has included most of the things that have come up tonight. The decision with the car parking won't affect this budget. So the budget is before you, it's gone through committees, it's gone through staff. And you have the report from Richard on how it will affect Precept. And I propose the budget.
Okay.
Yeah, it's budget first,
Yeah.
and then we'll look at the Precept secondly. But just to add, the budget includes, we've gone through it line by line, as Maura said, it has about £86,000 worth of savings, but unfortunately £125,000 worth of additional spending. £45,000 of that is new, which is fantastic. New projects that we're doing across the town hall transformation, place plan, town centre initiatives, planting, shop fronts, environmental and biodiversity, tourism branding, upgraded events budgets. We really put in what the committees have said over the last 4 months. £40,000 worth of stuff that is unavoidable and contractual that wasn't in previous budget or as it's been inflated, and about £39,000 worth of service delivery pressures, inflation. We're fortunate that inflation is running at the moment at 3.4%, and we're able to absorb some of those costs in things that we've realigned. You will note my comments, my statutory comments, in section 7 of the report. You will note that our financial reserves are particularly low, and I do need to highlight that to you. So it is important that the budget does include a £20,000 additional contribution to the budgets. This is on top of the 24,000 we did in the current year. And also I've proposed there that any capital receipts that you receive in next year is automatically transferred into a capital expenditure earmarked reserve. You're required to treat capital receipts separately to revenue. So that would put us in line with the Government Act 2003. The one I can think of course, is the very street toilets. They will be sold, and that capital receipt will need to be put in a capital reserve and only spent on capital items. So that we just need to make sure that that's accounted for properly. And it's a culmination of a long couple of months and a lot of hard work from everyone here and my staff team.
Yeah, it's extremely well drafted, well thought out, and congratulations to all those involved as well. Good piece of work. Bill, are you proposing?
No, it's been proposed. My hand is up to second it, and also to say thank you to the clerk for the clarity of his report.
Okay. Right. So those in favour of and this is just the budget in favour.
Hands up.
I think that's everybody.
Yeah, I think it is. Okay.
Then the next report is the Precept.
Yeah.
So just to remind you, if anyone is in council tax arrears of more than 2 months, voting for this is a criminal offence, and punishment up to arrears is definitely custodial.
I'm on my own here then, I'll vote yes, okay.
So you do, if you have in 2 months arrears in your council tax, you do need to declare it now. If not, and you vote, you will be committing an offence. I just need to make that clear to you.
Okay. So, are there any observations on the Precept? Just want to take the vote.
I think just to summarise the report, Chair, the previous audit reports have accused you of not doing this in the correct manner. So in accordance with section 50 of the Government Finance Act 1992, you have calculated your budget requirement at £807,924 because there were no changes in the previous item. Therefore, under section 41 of the Act, you are asked to levy a precept of £807,924, which does equate to a band D of £286.61. You will note with, I don't know if any of you have been into the technical details, but you'll note with success that actually we have received an increase this year in our tax base, which for the last couple of years, you've seen a decline, which means that even if you had a standstill budget, people would pay more because there's less houses to levy against. But actually we saw a 0.8% increase, which is fantastic, and may that continue. So the representative increase for a Band D property is around 2.5% or 13.4 pence per week. And I do actually have the tables in front of me for what each band would be if you want them. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Ben and then Dave.
A couple of quick things from me. Again, thanks to all staff and everyone who's worked on this. Really great to see. I'd like us to note that the 2.5% is again below inflation, which is always welcome to us as residents and taxpayers. And secondly, in the recommendation report, it says 1, set the precept for 2026-2027 as the budget calculation. So you should be calculated. So correct.
Thanks, Ben. Dave.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question, but Ben has already answered it more or less. Just to confirm that we are actually, if you're including factoring in inflation, this is a real terms cut to our precept.
Yeah.
Just felt we should note that.
Okay.
And that's politics.
Okay, so right then.
Yeah,
Use vote.
Yeah, so sorry, Richard.
we need to vote on that. don't we?
Yes,
I'm
please.
happy to propose.
Okay, thank you.
Happy to second.
Okay, those in favour?
Hands up.
I think that is unanimous.
Unanimous? Yep, thank you.
Just to note that we are doing a lot more press around this one than in previous years. Press release out this evening, advising the public of that. We've also prepared a new webpage, which is very transparent and easy read for residents to understand why increases are going up. It also includes interactive graphs where people can explore where the funding is and how much of that £286 for Band D is allocated to which area. So the town hall, for example, has what's the town hall? £33 of that is towards the town hall. So yeah, people can explore that in their own.
Okay, thanks. Right, moving on to outside bodies, One Voice Wales 13.1. The AGM was on the 21st of January, I think. Did Alison, was it Alison and Morag?
I didn't go.
Yeah,
No.
I thought you went. Just Alison.
Morag is our rep on the area committee. So Alison attended, but she's not here now.
Chairman, can I propose that we leave this matter until Alison's here?
Yep, I was going to say exactly the same thing, Phil. Yep.
Chair, can I just mention that it's the area committee on the 2nd of February, which is by Zoom. It's online one. I won't be able to attend because I'm actually doing a One Voice Wales training course that night. So if anybody else would like to sit in on the meeting, who's not been, just to see what goes on,
Okay.
then that will be fine.
Anybody want to do that?
As I have the accolade of having done all their courses last year,
You
I did one this year.
So you were the only one that has, Phil. Yes, okay.
It's not a course, it's the area
Yeah,
meeting.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd do that if you wanted.
Chairman, may I, with your kind permission, say a quick word about the One Voice Wales meeting?
Well, technically you shouldn't because but go on.
Who cares?
Well, I can.
Councillors will recall that Newtown Council put forward a motion to the One Voice Wales meeting a few months back regarding legal advice or the lack of it that we were
Yes,
getting
which
from
we
One Voice
submitted.
Wales. And this council was
Second, we
kind enough to support it.
Yes.
And the meeting was cancelled because it should have been a few months ago, but it came up on the 21st of January at that meeting. And it was overwhelmingly supported.
Good.
And
Okay.
on behalf of Newtown Council, I thank you for your support.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, thank you.
Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, so we will put that back till when Alison's back. Any other outside bodies that anybody wants to report on? Don't think there are. No, okay, item 3.3, the quarry initial stakeholder group.
Yeah, so Chair, I did send you an email, however the email's not attached to the agenda. But basically at the last meeting you noted the quarry planning application to turn it into flats, and the developer's agent actually looked through all the comments you'd raised and actually replied directly with those comments.
Yes.
I circulated them all to you. However, they've offered a space from Marshall Town Council on their stakeholder delivery group. So this is the chance to elect someone to sit on that group and really shape the proposals from the inside.
Yes, and if I can just remind everybody that our primary concerns were over the wildlife, specifically the peregrine falcons in the quarry, which the developers say are no longer apparent. So whether they've gone or not, I don't know. There was the presence of toxic chemicals and minerals in the site, and its proximity to children's play areas and that sort of thing. I mean, they are quite serious considerations. I don't doubt that the developers and the people at Paris will correctly address them, but this is our opportunity to be represented and to make sure that it's developed as we would like to see it developed and safely. And with the preservation of the wildlife, which I'm sure is there. So does anybody fancy that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I've been interested in the peregrine falcons all my life. They've been there for years and years, and they're still there.
They are still there, yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to vote to appoint Phil as your representative.
Okay. So, yeah, Ben,
Happy a second.
okay, thank you. So those in favour,
Hands up.
No?
okay, that's you then, Phil.
I'll reply to the developer, Phil, with your contact details and let them get in touch with you. That's okay.
Okay, on to correspondence, and the first of that is cross-border healthcare. I mean, this should be more of an issue for us here and in all over our part of Wales. I mean, it really is quite a disgrace. The problem is PT, Parish Teaching Health Board, as a strapped for cash. They're actually in debt. The amount that they're paying to English NHS for people in our area to be treated in English hospitals is expensive, and there's always been the fear that this gives rise to like a two-tier system where English people are prioritised over Welsh people, and to some extent they are because the Welsh government have allowed the Welsh waiting times to be used when considering how quickly patients should receive treatment, not the English waiting time. So when places are short, English patients tend to be preferred over Welsh ones because they have a shorter target waiting time than us. So we kind of wait. And recently the Senedd announced 120 million to Welsh healthcare. But as I understand it, we in this area get none of it because we don't have proper hospitals. We don't have any of the other things that they're lucky enough to have in other parts of Wales. So we get worst of both really, and what needs to happen is a big shake-up. So this is what this is all about, isn't it, Richard?
Yes. As you can see, it's a letter from Llandrindod Wells Town Council. They emailed it to all town councils and powers, and they're asking you to support their campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chair, there's only one answer to this. It's about time we all got together throughout the whole of Midwales when we have a new hospital, principally in Newtown or somewhere, that is ideal for everybody in Central Wales to go through in a short time.
I mean, there is a plan for.
I know there is.
Yeah,
About time we all got behind it.
A&E. It's not. Yeah.
About time we all got behind it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was shocked today when my daughter told me there was a year's waiting list to have an injection, not an operation, an injection. And we've got to do something, so that if they're coming up with this, let's support it. If you don't, you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So
yeah, and I think our voice will be louder in conjunction with others who are similarly placed. So I think we should follow this up. Yep. Bill?
I absolutely agree. To do nothing is itself political action. So
Yes, no, I agree. We should add our voice to the chorus. I know our MP has been speaking up about this. I heard the Labour group on Paris County Council have been speaking up about how rural services just cost more to deliver, and if they are to be delivered equitably, that must be taken into account. So yeah, I agree. We should add our voice to that chorus.
Okay. So can I propose then that we through the town clerk follow up on the correspondence we've had and see where we can support and
I'll second that, Chairman.
Thank you,
I
Phil.
think it would be good to have a recorded vote, please.
Okay.
Bill? 4. Richard?
4.
Phil?
4.
Ben?
4.
Morag?
4.
Dave? 4. Bill?
4.
Jackson?
4.
And Carol?
4.
That's unanimous.
Okay, good. Thank you all. Right, 14.2, Buckingham Palace. was had a letter to select a representative to go to the garden party in whenever it is. Yeah.
Well, it's suggesting that you nominate grassroots individuals for recognising their dedication. However, we just get to put someone forward and then a draw happens. So it's not necessarily the person we nominate actually gets to go. And then there's a few dates. There's the 6th of May, 8th of May and 12th of May. So they'll be allocated one of the if they're not successful. But it's just if you wanted to nominate anyone.
Bill?
Chairman, as one who's been twice, it's a very, very honourable day, and it's really well worth it for anybody. But what I'd like to do is to propose Nick Howells. We are all talking this evening about the work he's done with this hub, which has done a hell of a lot of stuff for the older people of Welshpool. And I think it would be very, very apt at the moment, as he's not here as well. And I would like to propose Nick Howells as the nomination to go to the Buckingham Palace.
I think that's a good nomination. The only thing I'd say is that he has to agree to it before we can nominate.
Yeah. But you all thought I was going to nominate me, didn't you? But no, I'm not.
No, I thought you were going to nominate me.
Second that, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Morag. Bill?
I would gently say that we are not necessarily nominating councillors, but we are nominating representatives of the community. But I actually do agree. I think Nick.
Yeah, I mean, the wording is slightly ambiguous. It says someone from the council, and then it says
it's grassroots level, and you don't get more grassroots level than what
that's
what Nick is doing in
I
that.
think we should make clear why we're nominating him.
Yeah.
Not because he's a councillor, but because of the tremendous work he's
The work he's done with it.
Yeah, okay. So you take a vote on that then. Those in favour? I think who seconded that, by the way? Morag, yeah. Okay, thanks.
I think that's everyone.
Yeah, that's everybody. Thank you all.
I'll get his consent before.
Yes.
Yeah.
14.3 Resilient Powers.
This is an event about climate and nature. It's happening in Knighton on the 7th of February, and we get a chance to send someone for free. So it's if we wanted to send someone.
What is it, sorry?
It's about climate and nature and being more resilient in biodiversity, I believe.
Do we need to do anything about that?
If someone would like to go, then please go, and we'll vote for you to go.
Who wants to go?
I would love to go, but I'm not available on the 7th of February. So.
Can we draw Alison's attention to it, because she may well wish to attend.
Yeah, well, you can if you wish to nominate her, if she's happy to go, then that's fine. You can nominate her while she's not here. Sign her up to things while she's not here.
They just got his hand up, isn't it?
Dave.
Yes, if that is a proposal from Richard, I would be happy to second it. If Alison can't make it, I would be happy to go in instead. But she has been to more of these events than I have. I've been to one. I think she's been to 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Which you want? You want to?
If you want to go, Dave, I'm happy to nominate you,
because if you
you'll be it.
No, I was going to propose Alison and myself as a backup if Alison's not available.
Okay. Do we need to vote on that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the proposer, proposed by Bill,
propose Alison as with Dave as the reserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those in favour.
Hand up.
Are you against Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the date of the next meeting is the 25th of February at 6:30. And now I need a proposer to go into closed session. Thank you. And a second. Bye, Richard.
Bye, Richard.
Thank you, Ben. Those in favour? Thank you.
And push the door to David.
Yeah, I just need to stop the broadcast.